hurry up. We've got some, look at this. I'm headless in one view and my head is moved to a different box. Can I move this up on top? That doesn't work. So. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Okay, a little bit of a different setup today. I know there is other stuff going on. I know we don't have the outside camera running today. The outside camera is actually positioned right beside me here. We'll talk about this in a few minutes. I know not everybody is present here yet this morning. I posted a few emoji at the beginning. It's cloudy here in Tokyo, so be it. And it's masked here in Tokyo, of course. And I posted another emoji, which was a man with two women. Well, I think actually the emoji is supposed to be a man with two daughters, but the two ladies today are not my daughters. I'm not alone. Justin's already laughing at me. So, have you seen the emoji? There's different emoji. There's like, you can have two men and one kid. They've got a full set now, or I don't know if it's a full set, but it's a set. Man, woman, one kid. Man, women, two kids. Man, man, one kid. Man, man, two kids. Women, women. They've got the full set. So I chose today the one that had a man at the top and two ladies. Whatever. They're supposed to be kids, I guess, but whatever. So whatever. The idea is this. There's another camera set up here. I'll pop it up here. We will put that large. It's the working bench next to me. And Sugi-san today has agreed to let us watch while she does printing today. And that was the idea. She was supposed to be busy beavering away at 8 o'clock when we started. She sent me an email a half an hour ago like, I slept in. Like, and if you believe that, you'll believe anything. So anyway, so here we go. I have my own work to do here, but it's the normal, not so interesting stuff we've seen thousands of times already. So the idea is I was going to be doing boring embossing on a small screen, and you'll see her doing real printing on the larger screen once she gets here. So until that time, you have to put up with me doing this. I have two prints to emboss today. Kubota-san, he's printing faster than I can do the freaking embossing. He's done another batch of 100 copies of the final print in last year's series, and another one that I haven't even opened yet from him. And this is his character. When he sends me the prints, this is his character. He's cut a piece of cardboard exactly to the right size. The prints are all cut as though they were on a guillotine. The string is ready. He's tied it, but he's also given a thing to the person who receives it. You can open it with a little quick pull. The guy is he's just 100%. He just gives 100%. What we started doing is to save resources at his end. Every now and then we send him back these boards so he can use them again in the next batch of prints that he sends us. You say he takes pride. Of course he takes pride, but you'd never see it. He's quiet, quiet, quiet. I can't reach the camera anymore to zoom in. This is the 11th print in last year's series. And as always, there's no embossing on it, and it's my job to emboss it. I was just chatting with Ishikawa-san about this before the stream started. Why doesn't he do it? He's supposed to do what you tell him. I'm the boss. He's supposed to do what the boss says. But we had our conversation on this a long time ago. He's like, that's not part of a normal printer's job. I give him the blocks and the color and the sample and everything else. And he's supposed to do that. He's supposed to return the finished prints to me. In his idea, that's something that's not part of a normal printing job. It would take him time, and he doesn't want to do it. He's like, Dave, if you want the craftsmen's names on this one, do it yourself. And he giggles, and I giggle, and here we are. And we've got our question of getting the right one on the right print. I've screwed up this before. Chon-san and Kubota. And this is indeed, this is carved by Chon-san. I didn't do that, this is Chon-san Kubota. Taran-san saved my life last week. And we have on the back, cut corners, none. No cut corners. This is the second time he's done this print. He did a batch of 100 or plus so for us last month or back in December, And now this is the second batch. So this one, he's got this. He has got this. I sent him 120 sheets. Let's see how many there are. If you want to count, well, am I going to get through this? I don't know. I hope Susan comes. Okay. Also, before I forget, we have show and tell. There are two things. We have the actual real prints show and tell, and somebody has sent something, which I guess is okay to open on the stream. I don't really know. Maybe somebody should speak up. If it's not suitable for the stream, jump up and let me know now. I have no idea where it came from. It's unreadable. It came from Britain. It's not a readable name. And the postal code is Huddersfield in Yorkshire. And we looked in our database and I couldn't find anybody in that postal code. So whatever, we'll take a chance, we'll open it. And we sort of know what it is. It says it's a top. Let's have a look. A new mist shirt, I don't know. Okay, Dave, get to work, get to work, get to work. Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can show. Let's hang on. I'll just turn this other camera. The printer that's set up, the camera that's set up for Suga-san. Let's just switch for a second here. You see what's going on, just so that you see the layout of the room here. I'm in Ayumi-san's bench near the window. To my right is what you are seeing in the other camera now. If I wave my hand in front of it there, and if I turn that one to the left a little bit for a couple of minutes here, just for a moment here, there's the entranceway where Suga-san will come in a few minutes. And over on the other side here, she's busy at work. This is Ishikawa-san. And you can, if we zoom in on her print just for a sec to see what's going on, she's printing, of course, some of the matching prints. Well, it won't focus that far away. And we're not going to really bother her so much. She wants to work peacefully and quietly. And then to the left of her, over there, this is Bei-chan's bench. She's not here this morning. She's been doing long, long days. She left here like 9 o'clock last night. She's doing a batch of the matching prints. That's the layout of the room. Let's pull it back. And that's where Suga-san will be in a few minutes, I think. The mic is right in front of me and it's showing, oh, -2 dB. It's got full audio here. The mic is right, it's right here. There it is, you can see it. Might be something to do with this. I don't know. Okay, talk, no work. Let's get going. Sound is coming from the inbuilt mic? I don't think so. It's turned off. The inbuilt mic is actually turned off. The only mic that's active here is this one. If I turn this mic off, just for a second here. Testing, the audio is now back on. Why do I wear a mask in my own place? Because there's other people in the room. I'm not alone here in the room. There's a lady printing on the next bench beside me here, and there's somebody else coming soon. Could I place the mic more in the middle? It's only right-handed sound. It says it's a mono stream here. Okay, whatever. Let's try this. Put the mic right in front of me. Okay, the mic is now right in front of me. Tap, tap. Is they're just printing after embossing. There's going to be real printing. Any minute now when the other printer shows up, Subi-san will be putting the main camera on her and you will see printing today. The mic is not working. The mic is working. The mic, I'm seeing a green bar. As I speak, it goes whoa, 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 whoa. It's at -1 dB. For example, let's try this. I will turn the mic down slowly. Turn it down, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down. Turn it back up, turn it back up, turn it back up, turn it back up, turn it back up. It's now at max. Okay. So there is a mic that's working well, but maybe inside OBS the things are crossed. I don't know. Actually, just a second here. These ladies up here, they've got a heater. You can see it actually in the other camera window. You can see it at the very top left. There's a little gas heater. There's a gas outlet. This place used to be a restaurant, and it had gas outlets all over the place. And so they've got a gas heater up here. We actually installed a major air conditioner heater. It's up there on the wall near the window. But they found that when that's turned on, the air stream blows through the room a bit too much, and it affects the printing. And you could work against that. We built an air shield for it. It's actually up there right now. You could also do air shields around your bench, but they decided they'd rather use that little gas heater that's over there. And for me, this room is way, way, way too hot. I can't work in this kind of environment. But they like it, and that's, of course, priority is their priority. This is their room. So. So the outside camera is inside today, and it's waiting for Subasan to arrive, hopefully any minute now. There was some news in my Yomiuri newspaper the other day about a new Japanese streaming service where a company has looked at Japanese craftsmen and figured out a way to try and help them to stream and get their information out into the world. And when I read this, I thought, wow, this is cool. Let's introduce this to our Twitch members here. And they can find this link and click and watch these wonderful Japanese craftsmen doing their work. It turned out to be a dead duck. Now, it is what it is. This company has built their own streaming platform. They have given these craftsmen a little laptop computer and a camera and showed them what to do and then let them run. And I looked last night and there was 2 or 3 or 4 of them. And there's a few rules. No audio. The craftsmen are not allowed to talk on stream. The audio has to be turned off. The camera has to be X distance away. No personal details visible and stuff like this. It's a complete dead loss. I thought there was going to be something really interesting to show you. Even those of you who don't know Japanese, you could still watch somebody doing lacquer work. Now, the guy featured in the newspaper was doing beautiful, intricate lacquer work. You can't see anything, you can't hear anything. It's just a... I don't even want to talk about it, whatever. They've built their own deal. It's supposed to help the craftsmen, so viewers can buy sushi tokens from the company, and then they can click in the stream and give the sushi token to the craftsman, and he gets 20 yen or something. I don't know. I think they've seen similar things overseas. They've seen Twitch or whatever, and they're trying to replicate it, but just rules, rules, rules. Is my mother here today? Oh, Mom, it's raining, is it? Hey, hey. Hey, David, I did Wordle in 3. You mean today's or yesterday's? I don't know. I haven't seen today's yet. Yes, so now we're embossing the signature, not signatures, we're embossing the names of the 2 craftsmen who collaborated in making this print. We have a polymer plate. I can't reach the camera there. It's a polymer plate with the 2 names made. We don't make these ourselves. They're made for us by a commercial printing company. The normal use for these is you put them in a relief press, a little Heidelberg, and you print with it. You can actually do relief printing with it. We use them for embossing. And if it'll get there, I'm not sure if it'll show that far away. I can't reach the camera there. You can perhaps see it next to my finger there. It's the embossing. The carver's name and the printer's name have gone in. And this is not the main purpose of today's stream. We're supposed to watch printing today, but our main star, Sugi-san, is not here yet, so just hang on a little bit. How many blocks is this print? You mean this one? I don't really know. It's there's a key block for the black. There's a second black block for the deep black background. There's a gray tone inside the dragon, and there may be a light brown tone that perhaps they didn't use. And then there's a block in the quote sky unquote area around it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5 blocks. Plus the dot con, so 6 blocks. Okay, this is the print she's going to be doing today. She's got her samples up on the wall. That's the print that Sugi-san will be printing once she gets here today. Too many cameras to show. I'm confused too. So it's Chinese. Okay, someone's asking, how are my eyes going to check up? I had to check up on Tuesday. It's 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So, for people that ask, the eye thing, it's nothing else to say. The left eye, there's still no sign of any glaucoma in it. We check this every 3 months. The right eye, the dead zone is very slightly, very slightly, very slightly getting larger pretty much every time. He wants me there every 3 months. We talked about it before. He wants me at the same time of day. They check the pressure inside the eyes. And the report was the same this time. On Tuesday, I went there. They did the they did the pressure check. And there is no elevated pressure inside my eyes. So there's nothing they can do. There's no medication. There's no surgery. There's no nothing. It's just he and I, this doctor and I. We are going to, over the years together. I'm obviously going to get to know this guy very well every 3 months. He and I are going to watch this thing progress to the point where I can no longer see in my right eye, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. And left eye, the one that I mentioned, when I go every 3 months now, the thing I want to know is there any sign of this starting in the left? And so far, none. So it's good news, whatever. I mean, it's good news, I guess. It's not bad news that my right eye is getting worse, but we know that's going to happen. There's nothing to say, nothing to do about it. So that's history. And as far as preserving my left eye, there's nothing to do about this. The regular checkups, what he's watching for is elevated pressure. If we get elevated pressure in one or other of the eye, that's a real predictor of glaucoma. It's a cause of glaucoma, the elevated pressure. So if they find elevated pressure, he would start right away some medication or surgery or something to reduce the pressure. So this is the reason for the checkups. He wants a baseline. He wants to make sure nothing is happening that he could help, and he wants to, with me together, we want to watch how this is going. We're not checking just for fun. We're watching to see if there's any elevated pressure. I hear footsteps. I hear footsteps. Ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, Natsuki Suga! Everybody, hakusho, hakusho.
おはようございます。すいません。寝坊しまし
She
た。
said we had changed the setup, so let's give her some time. No, Sugi-san, もうみんなパッパッパッパッ
あー、おはようございます。どこだ。
今オフ、だけど、まあ、
あ、オフ。
今こっちの方に。
はい。やっと着いた。
Let's give her some time to get set up here.
あ。
I slept like exactly what she said in the email. Are there multiple registration marks on the embossing block? This block, we're using it for two types of prints. One is, I've got the registration marks here, that fits the series we did last year, the Koryusai series. There's another set of registration marks at the back here, and this fits the Ukiyo-e Heroes series. So we've got many of those blocks as well, printed by Chon, carved by Chon-san and printed by Kubota. So yes, this block is doing double duty. One registration corner here, and then one registration corner down at the bottom. So yes, good catch. You're catching me use this for two sizes of prints. The smaller prints we did the Japan Journey and stuff, we've got separate boards for them because they're just too small. Yeah, just give her a chance. She just came in, she's getting changed in the back room there, so just hang on a sec. Once she does get started and up and running, what we'll do, give her a chance to get settled and get going. She's just going to start first. She'll be here for another, maybe another hour or so. So once we get settled and up and running, what I'll do is we'll switch to the other setup. I will turn off my camera and then I will go and stand up there. I'll be a cameraman for a while. We'll sit and look at this, we'll look at this, I'll run the camera around. We'll have a session actually watching what she is doing. But let's give her a chance to get going and get set up first. Another question about the audio here, without making trouble. Someone's saying the audio seems to be coming from the camera. And this is possible. I think OBS, what's happening here, the audio from that printing camera over there is coming in through a video card. And I've got my mic plugged into the video card. And I've told OBS, read the camera signal, but read the audio from the mic. But it's quite possible OBS is reading the signal video from the camera and reading the audio from the camera. I'm going to investigate this later. And they come through into the same interface inside OBS here. So this is somebody's comment here. I didn't catch your name. This is quite possibly what's happening in the background here. So whatever, we'll leave it. But that is perhaps what's happening. The way that OBS reads the information from these video cards. In that case, then when I go and grab that camera and when I talk to Suga-san, then in that case, good, the audio will pick up from that camera, it seems. Maybe we've got a bonus here. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of this embossing here, it reminds me, I didn't have time to set it up today, but we'll talk about this in the next stream. The prints that we washed the other day, some of them had embossing on it, and there were also, some of the prints we washed came through quite quickly, and I didn't really see and look and understand what was going on. When I read the chat later, I found out that people in the chat had been looking at the prints and had dug up some information and posted really useful information in the chat. So I'm going to bring those prints back, not today, and then we'll look at them and talk about them. There was one case specifically where there was a name in the chat that I didn't recognize, someone I hadn't seen before, and I don't think I see it here today yet, I don't know. This person was quickly reading the little match label prints I put up and came up with some very good information that I didn't notice as we were going through it the other day. So I'm going to pull that back and catch up on some of that information. Go ahead,そうかそうか、私のマイクで。大丈夫ですか? All my camera gear is in her way already, so.
石川さんおはようございます。
おはよう。
あれ、今何色する？
緑。
緑。
はい。
今日何すりますか？
緑、グレー、赤か。
緑、グレー、赤。わかりました。50枚ずつ始めてますか？
緑、グレーは今この1枚ずつで、
はい、
これは裏がこれです。50枚ずつ。
50枚ずつ。
じゃあ午後その作品。
いやわからないです。これ今日あんまり普通の地積みじゃないから。
じゃあ色もできる。
いや、時間かかると思う。田んぼ使ってとかまだどんぐらいだからやれたらと思いますけど、でもわかんない。どうしようか。
でも別の紙出さなかったんでしょ？
でも別に午後からだったら大丈夫。でも全部するかも。
昨日の夜遅くなったんですか？パーティー？
いや違います。今朝うち旦那さんが早番で3時半に起きたんですけど、二度寝しちゃったんです。
そうか。い
つもは起きる、そのまま起きるんですけど。二度寝したらいい。
3時半からなんだ。Sugi-san, she lives together. She's got a partner, a husband. And I asked her sort of semi-joking, were you up late last night? Is that why you slept in? And no, she had to get up at 3 o'clock or 3:30 this morning. His work had to start sometime around that, 3:30. So they got up. She probably got breakfast for him. Away he went. She went back to bed. I don't know what work he does. I don't know. I've never met her husband, so I don't know. Someone's asking what made her agree to this. Sugi-san has always been okay with this. You know, she's been in a bunch of our videos. Last year when Cameron was still here, he filmed her and took a bunch of video information. And I am now filming her. I was filming her yesterday, and I will be doing it again this afternoon and tomorrow. She is doing a batch of the match label prints, and I am using these cameras to catch video for the video that's currently in production. And she's going to be part of it. We'll be watching her print the match label prints, and we'll have an interview at the end of it. So Sugi-san is okay. She's a little bit mixed. She doesn't want to be all over YouTube and, you know, lose her privacy and stuff, but she is willing to cooperate with showing and exposing and talking about our work. She's fine. She's very good with this. You know, Japan, as a make a huge generalization here, you know, Japan as a whole still has this funny, if you asked your typical Mrs. Suzuki on the street or something, internet, their view of this thing that's called the internet is negative. Overall, in the mass media and in newspapers and in TV programs, whatever, the internet is a negative thing. There's so much talk about hackers and people stealing money and all this kind of stuff. Your typical Japanese person walking down the street has a negative view of the internet. Something a person like me doesn't have at all. Do we have a lot of paper cuts? No, for a couple of reasons. And at the moment I'm dealing with this paper, it's in its dry format. But almost all of our work is done with the paper being damp. You'll see her in a minute. The paper is over on her left side in that package that came out of the freezer. I took it out of the freezer this morning at 5 o'clock. I did my double getting up. I get up at 5 o'clock, brought their paper out of the freezer and went back to bed. I get up again at 6:30 to head to the pool. So. 今日5時出したわし。
あ、早かったですね。
いつも6時ですが、最近石川さんが早いですね。6時で、間に合わないですから。今日目覚ましを5時設置して出したんです。
そしてプールにも行ったんですか。
そう、プールですね。The thing she's doing today is one of the ones from the Woodblock Pilgrimage series. She hasn't done it before, I think. 初めてこの作品?
あ、そうですね。初めてですね。
She hasn't done it before. She's got the samples pinned to the left wall over there. You'll see them on the other side of her head, the other side of the camera. And as she goes forward during this printing over the course of this week, every time she makes an impression, she's right-handed. So she will pull the paper off with her left hand. You'll see this. And she leans to her left, looks at the impression, and she has a chance to compare it with the master copy up on the wall. And then this paper slides into the plastic bag, as you see once she gets going. A left-handed printer like me does it the other way around. Our catch bag is on the right-hand side. So we peel off with our right hand, look at it, and in it goes. I'm sitting at a right-handed person's bench here, so it's all backwards for me. What might be better, let's just test some of this here. If I move myself out of the way here, just a sec. If I do that, drop the camera. Now we zoomed out as far as we can. Oh, look at that treasure. もう一回飽きてください。もう一回飽きてください。いくつ何枚持ってる
？10枚ぐらいかな。
She has about 10 barons in it, all super perfect handmade honbarons. Wonderful treasure, wonderful treasure. すごい宝物でしょ、すげさん。はい。はい。
すごく。
火事とかなんかなったら、引き出し。
引き出しだけ持って逃げますね。もう始まってるの？
両方、このキャメラも、あのキャメラも。
黄色くなってる。ひどいこれ。大変なことが起きてる。ギョギョ。ゲーゲーゲーゲーゲーゲロ。
This is meant for people with tiny fingers. Yes, the little prop she's got standing up the block. This is not for printing. She's moistening it. And if she leaves it angled, the water will roll off. She stood it up just for the few minutes while she's getting it moist. Just you'll see how it goes. You'll see.今の質問ですが、なぜすり台が斜めで、今ハンギはもう平らになるために。
ああ、そう、水が落ちちゃう。
そう。
よいしょ。
See, which has gone dark. I thought it became okay. It was overblown before, so I set the light balance. Is it too dark now? I'm seeing it very nice. It was over bright before. Okay, what she's doing today is a key block, but it's a key block with a difference. It's not going to use black as a single color. The key block for this thing. Actually, maybe somebody, I should have prepared this. If somebody could help us, go to the mokuhankan.com website, go to the subscription section, look for the section about the woodblock pilgrimage, and this is print number 5, I think, in the woodblock pilgrimage series. So if somebody can find a link to that, we can see the print that she's going to be doing today. And the key block is not black. The key block is a gray, dirty brown color. And you can see she's getting the pigment ready now, starting with brown. Someone's got it. Thank you very much. Eggs. Who got it first? Lost for words, not lost for action. Good. Thank you, sir. And you see the borderline around this thing is a brown gray. Then at the bottom, the key block lines are strong, and then she's going to actually do a kind of gradation on this one. This is a very unusual block, and we really can't bother her too much because she's going to have to get into a routine here. We can't stop her and show us what you're doing because she's going to have to figure out how to do this and set a mood and a rhythm to do this. She needs a gradation. That's her tampo. Tampo. So it's a piece of wood with cloth wrapped around it. It's moistened. And once she gets started, forget the testing, but once she gets started, she will be moistening the central area of the block. And she will be printing the pigment all the way around it. She's preparing a new tampo every time. She's got her she's got her laundry. You know, every time she uses one, it goes in the washing machine and gets cleaned and ready. So she picked a new one today. You can't use the old ones. There'll be streaks of pigment in there. You need a fresh, clean one for every job, of course. And then even maybe partway through, it starts to get too dirty. Off comes the cloth, rewrap it, grab a new one. No, not new fabric, it's laundry. これは何? コットンでしょ? 布?
あ、布コットン。
手縫いか。
さらしで、さらしってなんて言うんですか。なんだ、こう巻く、なんて言うんだろう、包帯とかあとお腹に巻くさらし。
でもコットンですね。
コットンです。はい。
She's got a word I don't know, sarashi, some kind of belly band that she must have had around the house or chopped it up for this. So just cotton fabric, clean. We need a fabric that doesn't lint. If you've got bits of lint coming off it, you're going to be in trouble on your bench, of course. Yeah, she's mixed her black and her brown, testing it, tasting it. We all do this. You can't tell by looking in the bowl what color you've got. But take a tiny dab on a piece of washi, spread it around, and you can see against the white washi what kind of color you're going to be getting. Okay, I've got you on the camera. You're getting audio from her camera then. Perfect. I'll try and figure out what's going on with this microphone later. Nangakusha's got the answer here. Good. It's a new word to me. I haven't had much contact with pregnant women here in Japan. No. All the time, the block is moistened. This was the first thing she did when she sat down. Moisten the block, put water on the block, let it drink, 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 drink. You can't like throw it in a bucket 2 hours before, that would be too much. But she just wants to get this thing so the surface levels have absorbed moisture. If she didn't do that and tried to print on a dry block, it would just pull it out, the paper, the moisture would go all over the place. And she just mixed. She started with the brown and put the black into it. If you started with the black and tried to dump brown into it, you'd be there all day. You'd never get the brown you want. But she started with a bit of brown. The boss doesn't watch over her by camera every day. 杉さん、今のコメントは、ひどい公募ですね。杉氏がもうボスいつもカメラで上から見てる。
監視されてるっていう意味ですか。
だからonly todayよ、今日だけよ。
すごい監視。
で昨日のエピソード話していいですか？大丈夫でしょ？
あ、いいですよ。
昨日のエピソードだけどそう。
ドーナツ。
今のね、そう
はい。
そうそうそう。I was here yesterday filming her, not for this job, but she's doing two jobs at the same time. She's working on the Match Label series and this one. And the reason why she does them together is Ishikawa-san and Nei-chan are also working on the matches. And it could be that they both want the same block. So she works on two jobs at once. And she's going to do this one today, and maybe she'll switch to the match label this afternoon. Anyway, so I'm filming her yesterday, doing the match labels. She's wearing sort of the same clothes she's got today. This is her workshop clothes. I set the camera up, look down at the wood block, and before I start filming, I'm thinking like, I don't know, there's something I should say to Sugi-san, but I'm not sure if I should talk about it because it's kind of dangerous. The camera was focused on the block, and she had a big belly roll. And so you can sort of see it today. There's sort of a roll at her belly. And I was thinking, like, what's going on? You can't say something to her when you're gaining weight, or can we move the camera not to show your belly roll or whatever. But I did ask her, can we, sort of tighten this up? It turns out, and she's doing the same thing today. She's got a puffy. What do you call them? These little puffy vests. She's got one underneath. But you couldn't tell. The camera was just on the bench with this big belly roll. So I did mention it, and she took it off for the filming, so that people wouldn't misunderstand later. You can see it clearly now, the padding along her back. But yesterday we were just focused on her belly. So the heating is off. It's so hot here, I can't bear it. And yet she's still. Sugi-san,
はい。
本当に僕はもうこの部屋は暑すぎですからこれは嫌ですが、このマナー、このタディ、
ちょっと
女性と男性の違いですか？
そうですよ、きっと。はい。寒い。
Whatever she feels, and it still is early in the morning. This room will really get steamy and hot in the afternoon. Up to you. Up to her. I've provided the facilities. There's a heater, air conditioner, bang. We put it in the room ourselves, and we've got this gas heater. They could crank it up to 99 if they want. I don't know. The other thing is too, remember, I took my sweater off after I got going for a few minutes. She hasn't started yet. So if she is doing a block that requires a fair amount of effort, I get off the layers one by one. But no, this is not a cheap boss who doesn't want to heat the room. let's take the camera, let's zoom in for the moment on the central area there. We'll be playing with this. We'll zoom in and zoom out and do what we need to do. Let's try and get it a bit closer right now to the work area. And there's the core of it there, you can see now. Okay, there it is. There's the block in the center. Top right, you've got that's a little cup of paste. She may not be using very much paste. 今日重版ですから、海苔ちょっとあまり使わないかな。
そうですね。
The paste we use, when we're doing a wide, smooth color, it's really important. But when we're doing the key blocks, and it's mostly lines, the paste can be more of a negative than a positive. It will jam in between the lines. We don't need it to make smoothness. So she may put some on today, here and there, and she may not. Then she's got her tampo, the block for the relation. You see the pigment at the lower right, the barren at the bottom. And the brush is going, where's the brush? Oh, I see, there's a brush stand. Let's take a peek. There's a brush stand just below the barren. The paper, the real paper stack is up at the top right-hand corner. The test paper, she's going to run just some test junk sheets with copy paper right now. She has no idea what the color balance is going to be like, how the gradation is going to work. So the first few impressions you're going to see are going to be just junk copy paper. The paper towel print in itself. Corner protector. The edge protector. She's going around the edge here and she's going to leave off the middle section. If you look at the original version of this print, somebody posted the link. She's going to leave off the lines in the middle. Absolutely for sure. Once she gets going on this, she's got 100 sheets or so in there. Once she's going on this, that tampo will need to be replaced because it's being dabbed where there's ink. It's going to get dirtier and dirtier and dirtier as time goes by. If you're the cashier, so our garbage man could make a fortune. I don't really think they're saleable, but whatever. So. Again, she's going around the outside, avoiding the central section. This is an unusual print. This is not the normal routine. Of course, we normally run right across the back of the paper. 私たちにもいいですか？
ちょっと真ん中薄く。
Good, thank you. You see the idea. This print is designed in such a way that those two girls, it's a misty morning, and we don't want the clean lines of the buildings visible in the center of the print. They're going down this hill into a bit more of a blurry, misty area. The two girls at the bottom are sharp and clear. The outline around the top is sharp and clear. But the buildings in this little urban valley are a little bit more misty and blurred. It's a very nice design from Jed, I think. Very nice design. See her real paper stack up at the top there. how clean and perfect and sharp it is, you know. Her shisho, the person she learned from, was Kubota-san, the guy we talked about earlier who did these prints. And she has drunk the Kool-Aid, you know. He wants it clean, tight, careful, sharp, no fooling around, nothing loose, nothing, you know, nothing sideways. It's all got to be organized. It's the ultimate control freak job. If you're a control freak kind of person, this is the job for you. And if you don't like that kind of stuff, then stay away. You can make woodblock prints that are fun one at a time, two at a time, but if you want to make 100 prints that look exactly the same, you have to be a human control freak. Sugi-san didn't use the cleaver, no. Kubota-sanは紙切り包丁を使うんでしょ？
はい。
そうですね。Sugi-sanはなぜ使わないんですか？
私。
あんまり慣れてないから。
はいはい。
Kubota-san she feels he's using a 紙切り包丁, the cleaver type cutting, to train quite severely. We've got them here, but unless you use it all the time, it can really be a dangerous tool, dangerous to yourself, and also dangerous to the paper. If you're cutting a stack of paper with that thing and you slip, you've destroyed 100 prints in a moment. So I don't use it, I've never trained on it. I don't have a left-handed one, that's my excuse. But she doesn't use it either. As we said, unless you use it all the time, really carefully, it's extremely dangerous. So. Why didn't we cut the block that way? The effect we want is the effect we're getting. If we had cut it, there would be lines in one place and no lines in another place. She's compared with the original over there. The other thing about what we're doing today, she's printing a key block, and in any workshop of our type, there's, you know, it's easy going in some cases, and there's some things that are not easy going. And one of the things is sort of an inviolate rule in these workshops. We never disturb somebody who is working on a key block. And there's a real good reason for this. If you lose your concentration and your focus on the key block, and you put the paper in and go, and paper in and go, if you're not exactly in the corner registration box, if you're being a little loose with it, then when it comes to do your color blocks later, your registration will be lost and you will have no way to fix it, because every individual impression of the key block will be a little bit different. So in the old days, we're told that really strict work, the master would do the key blocks and the other guys do the colors. Because if the key blocks weren't perfect, it's all no good. The other day when Ishikawa-san was doing the key block for her match table prints, I came in, saw what she was doing, I'd back away, run away. Okay, goodbye, I'll talk to you later. No, it's no joke. This is really a serious thing. Sugi-san's okay with this today because we're not really going to bother her too much. I'm not going to sit there, stop and explain stuff. We're going to leave her alone. But also to the print she's doing today, it's not all that critically difficult. It's well within the sphere of comfortable work here. Those match label prints are super critical, and we are not fooling around with that one at all. I wasn't watching. What did she do? She put more brown in there, did you? I didn't see what happened. She must have felt that the color mix she had was too black, and she's put more brown in there. I wasn't watching. I'm saying, do we pull pranks? No, this is a professional environment, and we don't do pranks, period. I mean, Japan generally doesn't, but also we don't. The cost of disaster is far, far, far too much. We don't do pranks. There's no April Fools, there's no fooling around. The example she's looking at for checking, this is an interesting question here. The example she's checking is a real woodblock print on real washi paper. And right now she's actually doing proofing with copy paper, so the color actually would be a little bit different. And she's smart enough to understand the difference here. ちょっとすみさん、今の試しですが、コピーが有しですから、色はやっぱり違うんでしょ？本当の向こうにある和紙ですから。
色はあんまりまあだいたい見てますけど、今ぼかしとぼかし加減がよくわからない。
At the moment, she's not specifically seeing is it the exact color. What she's trying to work on right now is getting that bokashi correct, getting the gradation correct. So I mean, she understands this, that color is not exactly the same. And if it was, when she comes to do the color blocks, actually, you'll see all the printers here, they have these little slips of washi paper all over the place near their bench. And she will take a little sample of after you printed the color block on washi to be able to compare the same paper side by side. That's a perfect question, yes. You couldn't compare the colors if it was a different kind of paper. There you go, there's the real paper now. It's got to cut corners. It's still test paper. On top of her normal paper, she has X men. 2、3、4枚ぐらいですか？
あと2枚だけ。
2枚. So there, so we're doing a 3-stage. She tested first on copy paper, just rough copy paper. Then on top of her normal stack, she has 2 sheets of, I gotta say it, 2 sheets of junk paper. Paper we can't use. It's from the Kitaro workshop. That will give her a step closer to real washi. It's real washi. The color will be similar. It gives her a better feeling. It's not paper we can use for real stuff. That's why she's cut the corners, so that it's clear later on these are junk. Sorry, Kitaro. Whatever. So things are what they are. And then hopefully by the time she's done that, she's tested on the copy paper, she's run a couple of sheets with Kitaro, and she is now, all right, let's roll. And the real paper comes to the top, and away she goes. She'll understand scraps of English, and she's a normally educated Japanese person. If we attack her, if I tried to talk to her the way I'm talking to you now, she can't follow that quickly. But she understands lots. She will have had 3 years of middle school English, 3 years of high school English, and I don't know if she went to college. If so, then she got 4 more years there. So. Well, Entropy's question, so the test paper and good paper, are they different? I mean, what we would really want, and this is why we've got this Kitaro paper, we would love paper that was as good as Iwano-san's paper for testing. It gave us the same impression, it gave us the same color, it gave us the same feel, but it didn't cost much. That's what we want. We want cheap test paper. We don't want to throw away Iwano-san's paper on testing. And this is why we're using that Kitaro paper. It gives us pretty close to the real feeling of a woodblock print, which copy paper doesn't do, but it isn't good enough. away she goes, and she's now going to be up and running, and we're not going to disturb her. I'll grab the camera and poke around, but we are going to leave her alone. You can see the concept. She has an in stack in front of her, all carefully moistened. And imagine for a minute that the sheets were numbered. Imagine the blank sheets. It was number 1 on top, and if they were numbered down to 100. That paper is face down. So number 1 sheet comes off onto the bench, she prints it. She then looks at face up, and it goes into the out stack face up. And that's sheet number 1. They're not numbered, but imagine the number. Then sheet number 2 gets printed, and she's printing it now. It's face down, came off the stack. She's going to flip it over face up, and she'll put it on top of sheet number 1, inside that plastic pouch. The paper's moist, it's not wet, it's moist and soft. And we want to keep it the same moisture. This room is dry, dry, dry. And if she left that piece of paper loose, it would dry out, the registration would be all off for the next color. So it goes into that out stack to try and keep the moisture the same all the way through. It's drying as she's holding it now. She can't fool around for too long here. And in it goes, face up. Number 2 is now gone face up on top of number 1. Imagine that we go ahead, number 3, number 4, number 5, all the way up to 100. You've now got them face up. When it's time for your next color, you flip it over. They're now face down, and which one is on top? Number 1. And she will go through the colors one by one by one, and the paper will stay in exactly the same order, start to finish, through the whole batch of printing. So she's going to go now. 何枚ですか、杉さん?
100枚?
She's got 100 sheets in there. She said it with a question mark, so she's got about 100 sheets in there. We're not doing a limited edition, it's just another batch. So she's starting with 100. So she's going to continue now all the way through, no stop, until 100 are done. It'll then be lunchtime, or she'll do something else, whatever. And she won't come back to this print today, because we don't do the colors ever on the same day as the key box. We will then get into the fridge. This afternoon she'll print something else. The whole print, it'll take a week, because she's going to do maybe 1 or 2 colors a day. I think that print is, I'm not sure, 10 or 11 impressions, maybe 12. And this is her week's work, about a week's work, to make these prints. And we freeze. This is not the traditional method. The traditional method, it would just stay right there. They didn't even use plastic. They used, I don't know, newsprint or something in between. Then they would use wet cloth over the top of it. They didn't use plastic, and they didn't use the freezer. And in summer, it's a real challenge to get finished before the paper becomes moldy. Let's just watch for it. This is the routine. This is the rhythm, rhythm. Oh, show and tell, it's Nanda. But we just got going, we just got started. Let's stay with this for a while. Let's stay with this. We've got show and tell anytime. Let's stay with this for a bit. This is so important to see. Let's just watch this a bit. I didn't see, did she change patterns? She has a wide variety of them, from really super strong to really delicate. She must have found that she wants one to give a little bit more bite. Let's ask her. 今バラン交換したんですか？
あ、はい。ちょっとだけ。
強くなったか？
あと弱くしました。
弱かった。The previous one was a little bit too strong, and she's changed for one now that is a little bit lighter, a little bit more 弱い。弱く。She has a lot of bearings. And it's also too, not just the bearing, but what condition is it in? When we just tie it, it's sometimes a bit too tight and too stiff to use. But when you've been using it for a time, just before it becomes too bad, it's really, really nice and soft. So. I really think we should stick with this for a while. I'm sorry. I'm not show and tell at any time. Show and tell at any time. Let's watch as it is for a bit, and then when we get closer to shutting down time, let me go up there. I'll move the camera around. I'll move the camera to the left side, and we'll see the outstack. Okay, thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Thank you. But let's stick with this thing. It's a real good chance. 40 years ago, I would have paid a fortune to see something like we are seeing right now. Oh my God. Remember the troubles? I had to get to Adachi, can I go upstairs for a few minutes? And I sat there at Adachi's place for like 15 minutes watching this and trying to catch everything and drink it and make my memo, and oh my God. This is why I went back, and this is why Adachi threw me out. I just wanted to see this. Good question. What kind of reject rate is there? I am not going to ask, or I'm not going to talk about this, but there's a sort of general quote rule. If we need X amount of prints, the general average is the workshop master would give the printer, if I really wanted 100 prints for a limited edition, I would give the printer 10% extra, 110 sheets. It's not fair to give them 100 sheets because, my God, human beings are human beings. The process has all kinds of different little quirks and quirks with it. So we generally, the accountant in Dave and the manager in Dave counts for a 10% loss. Now, in real life, actually, with most of our jobs, they don't lose 10%. They lose less than that. In my case, over the years, of course, some cases I've lost far, far more than that. And we do occasionally have a disaster where something has gone wrong, or we didn't plan carefully, or the block was no good. And in some cases, a whole batch has had to be rejected and removed. But normally, she is well within the 10% tolerance. The part of this, so remember, this is like compounding interest. She's got this block here. Suppose she lost, out of the 100, suppose she lost 2 of them. Okay, they're going to stay in the stack. We don't pull them out. If we pulled out those 2 and threw them away, we've lost 2%. Then we go through to the next color, you lose 2% of what's left. You see where this is going. So we don't pull out rejects. Even if she does something today that she finds is no good, she leaves it in the stack, in the order, just as it is. It's far more important to her to have the stability, the rhythm, and everything not change. Left hand supporting the bench. Right hand straight wrist. Okay? There's none of this stuff. That would kill you. That's the point of this. The wrist is not perfectly straight, but the idea of the angled bench and leaning forward is her wrist is as close as possible to being straight when we rub. If we stood up on a flat bench and printed like this, we'd be dead ducks. You'd be dead in weeks. Your wrist would be gone in weeks. So someone said this stack will be her best friend. That's absolutely how it goes. The printer and the stack really get to know each other. We've talked about this before. There's no numbers on them, but the printer knows, the next one, that's the one where the paper's a bit thick. I better put a bit much extra pigment on it. It's your buddy for a week. just a hole in the floor. No, we have built the room to fit the people. The floor that you see there is a raised floor. We did two things. There was a floor in the building which had a foundation underneath it. So we cut down into the floor and we raised the rest of the floor. So we dug and lifted. Someone with really long legs, whatever you, I might put my legs out forward. Will she beat you in arm wrestling? No, no, not at all. It's nothing to do. I think arm wrestling, it's all about the biceps, right? I'm not sure where it comes from, the pressure. We don't get biceps. I've been printing 40 years and I have nothing. I have no biceps whatsoever. Sugi-san, whatever, normal. That's the point. We're not using heavy musculature. We're not working hard to do this. It all flows easily and naturally and smooth. There's no, ladies do this job here. It's not a muscular job. If you've been trying this and if you're getting tired and your arm is sore, you're doing it wrong. Someone's asking about the prints being centered. The paper is a bit larger than it will be. The shipping staff will trim the left and right, the top and the left to the final size. The paper here is a little bit larger than finished print size. Yeah, she was giggling at me there. She does understand, of course she understands. Lots and lots of English. What she's thinking is, big talk from Dave, she could take me in an arm wrestling, probably. So. I have nothing. I have a woman's arm. There is no bicep here. 35, 40 years of printing. Nothing. It's nothing. Somebody says it's not about the bulk. Nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with musculature. Don't I go dissing women's arms? I wasn't dissing, I was dissing myself. Come on. Men are supposed to be, like this, right? Women aren't expected to have that, and I have a woman's arm. That's all there is to it. It wasn't dissing women, it was dissing this guy. So counting the reject prints, the 10%, we're not doing limited editions here. So we have no specific goal. I need 100 sheets from this printer. We're going to put numbers on 1 to 100. That's not what we're doing. She's just making another batch. We have a steady demand for this print. It's one of our subscription prints. So we simply just need to get more back into stock. She said 100. It wasn't 100. I gave her Takenaga paper. It takes 8 out of every Takenaga. You saw me sizing it. There's 18 sheets, and I think I gave her 6 sheets. So she's probably got 108. 108でしょ、すぐさん。竹長6枚かける18。
そう、100枚ちょっとぐらいだった。
So we haven't counted exactly. Simply, I need another batch from her. I gave her 6 sheets of Takenaga. I think she cut it all, which would mean 108 pieces of paper in there, and she'll just do that. So we're not doing exact accounting here because there's no limited editions here. No, the conversation about Goju, Ishikawa-san on the other side of the room, she's doing a print that is going to be many, 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 many more colors. She's doing the pair of match label prints. And it's now 14 kai, 15 kai, I forget.
もっとでしょ。
But 20 times printing. So rather than doing, I gave her the same thing, about a stack of 100. But the thing there is because there's so many colors, to do it all in one run is maybe a couple of weeks' work. And also, Ishikawa-san doesn't come every day. She can't because of the financial limit that the government applies to us here. So she has taken her batch and she split it into about 50 and about 50. And she will do 50 first, turn them into me, and then she'll get started and do another 50. Yes, good question. What's on the floor next to her? What it is, it's a little tin can. I don't know, there was probably tin candies in it or something like that. It's a little shallow tin. And she has filled it with cotton. So it's a wata. It's full of cotton. And she has soaked inside the cotton with camellia oil. Now you've seen Dave. Dave here has his Baren wata. This is cotton as well. And this has camellia oil sort of around it. But she is using that tin, which is saturated with camellia oil. And if she needs a bit more, she just sticks the Baren on top of that, and it picks up camellia oil. Some of the rest of us see, what's Aimi-san doing? Aimi-san doesn't do that. This is Aimi-san's bench. Aimi-san is using a little tiny spray, excuse me, of camellia. And she goes, pss, pss, and it sprays a tiny bit of oil on the Baren. She rubs it with a tissue. Sugi-san is using a more traditional setup. Kubori-san のやり方ですか？綿、椿の綿。
あ、これ？
そう。
あ、
自分で考えた？
みんな足立
でその
人たちみんなそうだった。
He said that's the way it was done from Kubori-san, and she says all the printers back then in that workshop were doing it that way. We showed this set of yokai matchbox prints. They're in our catalog. Ishikawa-san just did a batch of them last month. Go over to the mokuhankan.com catalog and you'll see the yokai match prints are there. They've been on sale for half a year. More. Nearly a year. No, there's Match Level Prints is this year's subscription series, but the yokai matchbox prints, they're in the catalog. She's laughing at me because actually she did the prints themselves, I don't even know, half a year ago. But I couldn't find good paper for the envelope, for the packaging. I tried to buy some paper, and I sort of forgot about it. And she didn't get paid for the prints because Dave was still fooling around and he didn't get the paper for the wrapping. And finally I found some a couple of weeks ago, gave it to her, and she got her job in. Now she can get paid. No link? Come on, you guys, you're slow. Where's the link? Sugi-san, コメントはもう本当にここまでありがとうございますよ。だからここまで見るチャンス全くないです。40年前のデイビッドもだから足立に水死の部屋入れていいですか？もうとりあえず5分とか。この人たちはもうこのチャンスないですよ。だから本当に本当にありがとう。
ありがとうございます。こちらこそ見ていただいてお腹出てるけど。
Nobody's looking. そこまで誰も見てないよ。
気になる。そっちが気になる。
She wants us to know that's not really fat. そこまで気になった人いないでしょ。さっき話しました。昨日のエピソードで話しました。そう。
よかった。
Those yokai prints, I carved those on stream, but this is over a year ago. I don't even remember now. They're a Twitch stream from a year and a half ago. It was after that experience making those yokai prints that sort of put the seed of the idea in. Wow, maybe we should make a series of those things. So that was the beginning of the it was a year ago or so. Someone says the berries look tasty. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. One day. I think also now too, I haven't timed this, but I think the taste has now sped up. She was very slow at the beginning, testing, checking, looking, testing, checking, looking. And if you put a stopwatch on this, I think if you had compared 5 minutes ago, she has now picked up the pace on this. And this is part of it. We shouldn't interrupt, we shouldn't stop her, no phone calls. Boom, 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 boom. And a real competent printer, and more experience, it's just go, 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 go. These are literally printing machines. She's a printing machine we are watching. No, Ishikawa-san made her batch half a year ago, but we started that yokai match level project a year and a half ago or so. But she did her batch a half a year ago or more and waited for me to get the paper ready. So we're two stories getting mixed up here together. Another very good question here about the lighting. This is interesting. And the way we do things here and the way a commercial printing workshop do things are quite different. Someone's asking about this, the lighting. Is it yellow? Is it blue? What's the Kelvin? Do we really care? Do we control the mix very properly? The way we do it here in this workshop comes from my own personal viewpoint about this, is that I'm very loose with this. I have not measured the temperature of the light in this room. I don't care about it. We have natural light from the windows. We have an LED of a certain strength. Each bench has a fluorescent light of another number. What we're looking at in this workshop here is simply an average normal light. If it's too blue or too yellow, it will be strange, but we're looking for an average mix. The reason is this, because the prints we make, she's going to make 100 of these, they're going to go into stock, they're going to go into 100 packages, they're going to get mailed to 100 people all over the world who are going to open them and see them and look at them in completely random lighting environments. We cannot control, and we don't care to control, how people are going to see which temperature level of these things. A commercial printing environment, they have little monitors and stuff, and it's got to be 4,500 degrees or something like this. We don't go play by those rules. We just want normal, average, natural, understandable color. I'm getting chilly. I don't do anything. They're moving, they're working, but Dave's just sitting here not moving, so I'm getting chilly. But it's a question. I know there's people I've met in the woodblock printing business, a couple of Westerners. They are really, they've got a message on their website, please set your monitor to 45,000 degrees or whatever. I said we have to be control freaks, and about some things we have to be control freaks, and some things are beyond our control, and it doesn't matter. The other thing too, remember the paper is changing. After 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, the paper changes. It's now quite bright white. 10, 20 years from now, it's going to be a little bit toned, a little bit brown, a little bit yellow. And 100 years from now, when the print is really beautiful, the paper will be heavily toned. I can't control those things and don't care to even try. I think also too, in the instack under the plastic there, what we're seeing on the top is I think half of the paper, or maybe a third. She's not using newsprint like you see me doing. When I'm doing it, I have wide sheets of newsprint that I moisten. She's got her stack in between smaller, thicker cards. It's much more difficult to control that way, and it only works well if you are fast, if you can go through, because the paper sitting up there on top can dry out. And we can see maybe the top. 今見てる和紙は半分ですか？
あ、半分です。
半分ずつ50、50ぐらい。So she's got it half and half. I can't do this. I'm not fast enough.
ここに隠れてます。
いいです。どうぞ。Thank you. この形、新聞紙なしで早くしないと無理でしょ。新聞紙ないですよ。だから早くやらないとダメですね。I love the control. Just watching somebody perfectly controlling this. This rubs me just perfectly. This presses all my buttons. Is she putting the paste on? I wasn't really watching. I doubt she's putting it on every time. It would build up too much, I think. The thing has bumps inside. There's a coil inside with bumps. And if we just print, rub, the sharp points of the coil start to affect the skin. The sharp points of the coil banging on the same point of the skin all the time, they make little holes. So what she did, just as a little tiny motion, she held the barren in one hand, and she took the other hand, a couple of fingers, and she turned. She didn't turn that far, she just turned a couple of millimeters. She turned it occasionally so that the sharp points inside don't rub on the same part of the skin every time. If this was a heavy block, goo, she would do that every time. But this is a light key block, there's very little abrasion. She'll just do it occasionally. And you can feel, when the holes start to appear, the points are in holes, the barren loses a bit of strength. And she can feel it, something funny, you turn it a bit, it came back. So you can feel it developing. Is Dave taking notes here today? Well, no. How's Shiba-san doing? She's fine. She's living at home in Ome. She lives near our Ome workshop. She's working there 1 day a week, or sometimes 2 days a week, to earn some money to keep going. And she's making friends. As far as I know, she's working on her newer print, the one none of us have seen yet. She's working on a new design. She's also got her finger in so many pies. She's visiting a paper-making village outside of Tokyo. She's interested in doing that. She's just doing 100 different things. She might still be working with the people who make wigs for kabuki. I don't know. I can't control it. Those of you who are waiting for her prints, there's nothing I can say. We have an open offer with her to have our printers professionally print her work. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to make them all by herself. So all I can say is just sit tight, see what happens. If you'd be talking about my hair, I need a haircut. It's grown too much. I need a haircut. It's not so much on top, but whatever. Yeah, I have hair. Thank you. I'd rather have it than not, but it's a bother sometimes. But whatever. Well, there's more hair than me, and I'm 33, but this is not something I'm controlling. It's no good congratulating me. Wow, Dave, you're working so hard to make your good hair. I don't have anything to do with it. It's just DNA is what it is. We don't have a map at the moment, but we do have, if you're in a browser, this isn't on a phone. If you're on a browser looking at this, if you scroll down below this, the stream, there is a what do you call it? There's a widget running, which shows, I forget what it's called, current views where they're coming from or something. So we have a widget running, but it's not a graphic map, it's just a list of countries. Top current viewers location. Thanks, John. So, the audio and video are not quite synced up. I hear the sounds a little bit different from what I'm seeing. I don't know if it's synced for you guys, but in the broadcast software here, no. The audio is a tiny bit in advance of what it should be. The video is delayed. I don't know why. Yeah, somebody counting. This lady is fast, Michelle. This lady is fast. That's how you make a living at this. And the other thing too, when I get the prints from her next week, I'll flip through, like with Kubota-san, you know? They are all the same. They're just all the same. One after the other. She's a printing machine, a wonderful printing machine. Printers ever get carpal tunnel. Nobody here in Japan knows what this means. We don't know. The bench and tools are optimized for minimal stress. As I said before, if you try to do this at an angle or something, you're going to have problem with your tunnels and your tendons here. Sue says not using newspaper sheets. She doesn't use the sheets. The boards she has that are interleaved with the paper are of course moistened. And at night, the newspaper pack is on her left. At night, the prints will be in that newspaper in the freezer. But when she brings it out to print, unlike Dave, who splits his pack half and half and goes from newspaper pack to newspaper pack, she doesn't want to dig around trying to find her prints. So she keeps her newspaper pack on her out stack. And she stacks up all the prints waiting into what you see in front of her, the in stack. And she's got some larger pieces of paper that are moistened to help keep it from drying around at the edges. In fact, somebody's asking to zoom. Let me go for a walk. It'll be a bit earthquake. The camera's going to rock. I'm going to grab the camera and go around and have a look at some of these things close up. I won't be able to read the chat while I'm doing this, but I think we're okay. You guys can take care of yourself. I'm not quite sure how long the cable is. Well, that's not that one. Which one is which here? Hold on a sec. That's this one. Let me get over there and get a bit closer. So you guys take care of yourself for a while. I'll just go for a walk with the camera.ちょっと違う角度から見ていいですか？それさん大丈夫ですか？はい、出来上がりのものも見たい。そのまま自分そのまま
いいですか？
そのまま自分の人いや私しかいないと考えてください。 ちょっといいですか？はい。綺麗ですね。真ん中はちょっとボケてますし。そっかそっか。
こっちだけ
うん。はい
近い。
はい。じゃあどうも。
遠近遠近
Earthquake, earthquake, earthquake. Okay, so we ignore the stream here, or whatever. One thing I meant to, she asked earlier, how many people are watching this? She sort of was a bit curious about this. How many people are watching here? We get a number? 576. Okay, thank you. 杉さん、600人ぐらい
おお、
今見てるんですね。
ありがとうござい
それ
ます。
本当に声いっぱい、もう本当に本当にありがとうとか、wonderfulとか、もうそのチャンスが全くないですから、
はい。
本当に。
こちらこそありがとうございます。見ていただいて。
Okay, so here we go. We'll sign off now. I really don't want to disturb her much more. She's being really polite about this, but as I told you before, our rule is we don't muck with people when they're doing key blocks. And Ishikawa-san wants to be left alone too pretty, obviously, so we just leave him alone. So we're going to sign off. I have a ton of other jobs to do. And I think maybe we'll do this some other time in the future. I can't really do it all the time for a couple of reasons. It bothers them too much. And second is, our time is early. They don't normally start at 8 o'clock or so. So we'll do it when we can do it, now and then, when we can do it. And I've already passed on, I told her very much that people are being very thankful for this, and we'll tell her. And once I see the chat later on, I will share some with her. So any special comments you've got for her, put them in the chat, English or Japanese, and I'll make sure she sees it a little bit later on. Let's sign off. I'm sorry it's overdue. We've got show and tell next time. There's lots and lots and lots of time to do this. Thanks for watching, and we're going to sign. Okay, we can't see. Just a minute. Wait. Which goes? Just a minute. Oh, I can't reach. Zoom out. Okay, image is entered. Okay. もうみんな同じことで、もう thank you.
ありがとうございます。
石川さんも thank you very much.
はい、どうも。
どうも。はい、thank you. Okay,
イエーイ。
Okay, going down, signing off. 3, 2, 1.